Welcome back to Hot Topics, y'all. Y'all already know if the topic is hot, we're on it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get right into this story. Todd and Julie Chrisley's prison sentence. What the Oh my gosh. Hey, could I first say that I don't think Todd is built for this. He just doesn't look like the type that is built for prison. But maybe I've been watching too many of those prison documentaries on YouTube, and I'm thinking, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. I don't know. The ladies are kind of friendly, but then again, I've seen Orange is the New Black, and I don't know. I don't know if Julie could handle that either. Anyhow, let's get into the details of what really happened, man. I remember seeing these people on TV, and I wasn't too much into watching the show. I just thought, they looked kind of, I don't know. I don't want to pass any judgment or say anything bad. It just wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't my thing. But here goes some information. Shout out to MSN.com. If Chrisley Knows Best stars Todd and Julie Chrisley were surprised by the jury's decision to convict them on all charges, which included defrauding community banks of over $30 million. We can only guess how shocked they must be at their federal prison sentences. Listen, the Chrisley Knows Best, that's a show. Everybody knows that was on TV, and it's been on TV for a while. I'm sure it's gotten pulled from TV now. You know, once you get in trouble, they kind of pull your sponsorship, they pull your this, they pull your that, unless you're self-made like Martha Stewart, rather, not Walter Stewart. Anyhow, enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get to the meat of the matter. A lot of people want to know what exactly did they do to deserve so much time in prison. Also, let me go ahead and say this off the bat. I found this out by scrolling Instagram yesterday, and I saw a whole lot of African American celebrities and with their blue ticks, verified people, and a whole lot of African American, just regular people who obviously were viewers of the Chrisley Knows Best show, right? And they were all being sympathetic, and people were like, free my dogs, free my people. Man, these people ain't never hurt nobody. There's real criminals out there. How about y'all go find the rapists and the murderers and the killers? Why y'all doing all this to Todd and Julie? Todd and Julie ain't built for this. They don't get down like that. They're not bad people, blah, blah, blah. So I had to go look it up. I was like, what is going on? And damn, I'll be damned. Shit. They defrauded. This is what the government says. They got some charges against them, to include defrauding community banks out of $30 million. Now, back in June of 2022, a jury found the reality star couple guilty of tax evasion, conspiracy to defraud the IRS, and in Julie's case, wire fraud and obstruction of justice, in addition to the bank fraud. So Todd had all them other charges. Julie had all the charges that Todd had, plus additional charges. Sheesh. Wow. This was according to the Associated Press. Anyways, it's very sad and heartbreaking time for our family right now, is what Todd said on their ironically titled podcast, Chrisley Confessions. So they went from the TV show to a podcast, and their podcast name was Chrisley Confessions. After the conviction, we still hold steadfast to our faith, and we trust God, and we will do what He does best. God will do what He does best, because God is a miracle worker. And that's what we are holding out for. So after they found out they were guilty, they got found guilty. You know, the lawyer is going to tell you, listen, you guys just got found guilty. There's going to be a sentencing. you're going to have to do jail time, prison time. And they're like, yeah, we're holding out for a miracle. Save me, Jesus. Damn, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people pray and say, save me, Jesus, and no Jesus came to save them. Maybe it was because that's what Jesus ordained, was for you to go through this. Because when you were defrauding and doing all the other stuff you got found guilty of, you wasn't saying, save me, Jesus, then. I don't know. Prosecutors argue for a lengthy period of incarceration. Prosecutors wanted to max them out, take them to the bank. On account of the seriousness of Chrisley's crimes, the government initially, so she is the one that took the brunt of the fall. Was Chrisley saying, come on, Todd, you pussy, let's do it. And Todd is like, Chrisley, I don't know, baby, I don't know. I don't know how it went. But the way they make it seem is as if she was the one that did most of the dirt. And based on what they can prove, she's the one that came out with the most dirt on her. So that's how the sentencing went. So on the account of seriousness of the Chrisley's crimes, the government initially recommended 22 years in prison for Todd and 13 years for Julie. Chrisley is their last name. So the government initially recommended more time for Todd, even though Julie had more charges. Interesting. 13 years for Julie, 22 years for Todd. Now we finally have official confirmation as to just how long their prison sentences are going to be, is what was said at first. However, they got lucky. And when they got lucky, it came out like this. Todd and Julie Chrisley were officially sentenced to 12 years and 7 years respectively, not 22 years in prison for Todd and 13 years for Julie. They instead got 12 and 7 years. Who got the 12 and who got the 7? Unfortunately for Todd and Julie Chrisley, the judge in their case seemed more inclined to side with the prosecution and sentenced Todd to 12 years in prison. Holy macaroni. 12 years, that's a decade plus 2 years. I know a lot of people are going to break this down, all the prison experts in the comment section, and say, oh, they committed wire fraud and all that. They're going to a federal penitentiary. It's not the same as a regular penitentiary. And also in their nighttime counts as 1 day and daytime counts as 1 day, which automatically cuts your 12 years into 6. I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's in a regular prison. I think in a federal prison, you have to do like 85% of your time or something like that. I am no prison expert. All I know is standing in front of that judge and hearing 12 years in prison would just kill me. 12 years. That's a decade and 2 weeks. In addition to 16 months of probation per WSB TV. The outlet also reported that Julie was sentenced to 7 years in prison with an additional 16 months of probation. And it appears that the judge in the Chrisley's case wasn't entirely convinced by their attorney's argument. In response to the prosecution's sentencing recommendations, the Chrisley's attorney requested that the couple serve a significantly reduced sentence, and he was arguing that Todd had accounted for all income and that many people, including his mother, would be negatively impacted if they went to prison for many years. Because all the money came through them. There were a lot of people that were dependent on them that are going to feel a heavy backlash from this. Hey man, it's sad when you're heading off to prison because once you're in there, that's what it is. People go to prison and then they get a letter a few years down the road. Mom's ill. Mom's got to go to the doctor. She has cancer. Now she's going through chemo. She's getting weaker. Mom's dying. And then the next one is mom's dead. She's gone. She's passed on. Her funeral's next week. You're in prison. So you have to process all this in prison. And you can't just get out and be like, okay, I'll be back next week to continue my sentence. I got to go pay my last respects and go to my mom's funeral. Doesn't happen that way. So, these are the things that we got to think about before we go to prison or before we do things that might lead us to prison. You leave and your child is 10 years old and you come back after doing 12 years in prison. That 10-year-old, that little cute 10-year-old is now 22 years old and an adult. Damn. Shit. So it appears that the judge wasn't really feeling all this that their lawyer was saying. The judge really didn't care about who's going to be impacted because the Chrisleys were the breadwinners. The judge didn't give a damn about that. And quite honestly, you committed a crime. I don't think the judge, especially I know for a fact in the black community, the judge never takes that into consideration. Your Honor, he has 7 kids that depend on him. He is the main breadwinner. He is the protector, provider. They're impoverished from the get-go, at a disadvantage. They live in a community where it's very volatile. These kids are going to be left without protection, without someone to provide for them. The judge goes, I don't give a shit, and sentences you to the max all the time. I've seen it happen all the time. So no special preferential treatment. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Let's keep the same energy when somebody else from another persuasion does the same thing and gets based. Now, throughout the indictment and the trial, the Chrisleys have denied any wrongdoing. They said they didn't do anything wrong. Maybe that's a part of the reason why they got all that time. Instead, their lawyers claim that they'd been the victims of business manager Mark Braddock, who was the real fraud. Additional information surrounding the couple's federal prison sentencing, along with their reaction to the news, were not made immediately available. Damn. So basically what they're saying is, we didn't do nothing. We did not do anything. It's the guy that we were doing business with, that we trusted, that got us caught up. And now we've got to pay the consequences. It's sad. It's sad. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Were you a fan of their show? Do you think that their sentencing is just for what they did? And be careful out there, because when your time comes, if you're into anything dirty and they hit you with those 12 years behind prison bars, it's not going to be a smooth sailing 12 years. It's prison. I'll catch y'all on the next video, man. My best wishes to them, and I hope they get through it. I'm out. Peace.